We are kicking off the show this morning in the Charlie Wilson KitchenAid kitchen to kick up our dishes and learn a little bit more how to kick it up with bourbon. Chef Brandi Alexander is here. She is the owner of Southern Flair and runner-up of Master Chef Season 7. Love that you're here in our kitchen showing us
I'm
this.
excited to
right?
be here.
You do. You love cooking with bourbon. That's like your
I do.
thing.
I cook with tons of it. You know, Kentucky's known as a bourbon state.
Yeah.
We're really heavy on that, but a lot of people don't know how versatile it is in the kitchen.
No, or we think that one size fits all, or one type goes in a certain type of dish, and that's why we were excited to kind of feature two segments with Chef Brandi here today. So for this first one, we're going to talk about the savory side.
We're going to talk about savory, and you know, normally people think about pork and they think about beef with bourbon, which is great.
Yeah.
I have tons of recipes, but people don't usually think about pairing it with lighter things like fish.
No.
So we're doing
a beautiful salmon here.
Thank you. We're doing a cast iron seared salmon. We actually left the skin on. We have it skin side down.
Okay.
We're going to get that skin really good and crispy, caramelized, and just lightly cook it on the other side. And then we've got some Old Forester bourbon that we're going to pair with the salmon.
Yeah, you do.
It has a really deep, rich flavor, but lighter notes as well. It's not really heavy on the sweetness, you know, that some bourbons have, so it's going to pair really well with our salmon.
That's my big question for you here is like, how do you choose the right bourbon so it doesn't overwhelm the dish that you're making, right? And I'm sure that when you go into a store, you could ask people these questions too.
Right.
Yeah.
Some bourbons have more vanilla and caramel notes. Those go really well in desserts or with things like pork. But you kind of want to shy away from the sweetness when you're doing something like a salmon.
Absolutely. And not like completely just douse the whole thing.
No, no,
Right.
we're not even going to pour it on the salmon. We're going to use...
I know how it goes.
Yes.
All right, we'll let you check the bottom of that there. Any other prep work that you would recommend with this, or do you like mix the bourbon in with some other things?
If you're going to use the skin on your salmon, you want to make sure that you descale it first. That's where most of the toxins in the salmon are in the skin, so we're going to descale that first.
Okay.
Because we want it to crisp up really nicely. And then, of course, everyone knows that salmon pairs well with citrus, so we're going to add actually the zest and the juice of our fruits. And then we're going to add some thyme to it to bring out some other notes. But most of the flavor is actually going to come from the pan on this dish.
With that cast iron, that beautiful cast iron skillet, right? And we want to remind everybody that you recently just moved to Louisville.
I did. I've just relocated here.
Yeah.
Thank you. So my private chef services are offered throughout the city now, and I actually do lots of dishes like this you can find on my website.
Brandi, for Derby time, I can only imagine, right? Like people want to have wonderful events in their home.
Yes. Derby is definitely a very busy time.
Oh my goodness. And with your business, Southern Flair, what do you primarily cater to? Is it a lot of these private parties? Are there businesses that bring you in for corporate events?
There are tons of businesses. There's a lot of private parties. I even do, you know, intimate in-home couple dinners.
Oh, nice.
I specialize in upscale Southern cuisine. I like to take simple Southern ingredients and show people how they can turn them into something more.
Yeah.
And fuse them with other dishes. I'm actually doing some cooking classes with some couples as well, some demos in the home, people that want to learn how to not just eat these, but how to utilize the ingredients as well.
Right, and to enjoy yourself a little bit while you're cooking it.
Yes.
Has life changed for you a little bit after is it Master Chef?
Yes.
Master Chef. Season 7, you were the runner-up. That just had to be a crazy experience to like cook on a time like deadline and to be, you know, under the pressure of television like that.
Yes, I'm from a very small town in Breckenridge County. As I tell people, there's more cows than people there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very overwhelming when I first came back. You know, everyone knew who I was at this point.
Yeah.
But it's been exciting. It completely changed my life. I used to be an elementary school teacher, and now I cook. You know, so it's been amazing. It brought a whole new path to my life that, you know, probably wouldn't have happened before.
Well, you kind of got a way to explore your passion and do really, really well at it, right?
Yes, it's been amazing. So we've got our skin crispy. We don't want it to get too dark, but we've got it crispy there. We're going to remove it from the pan.
Okay. And
this is where all the flavor is going to come from. So we're going to go ahead and add our bourbon because we want to cook some of that alcohol off. We're going to add about 1.5 shots.
Okay. Oh, that smells good.
And go ahead and throw in some thyme. Thyme pairs really well with bourbon. I like to use that a lot.
Okay.
while that's starting to cook the alcohol off, we're going to take a microplane or a zester. That's the most underutilized part of citrus fruit. You want that zest. That's where all of the flavor is.
Right,
So
people typically will peel that and kind of like lose all the flavor. There's not as much there.
Yes, there's tons of flavor in the zest. You just want to make sure you don't go past the color. You know, you don't want any of that white bitter part.
Okay.
Then we're going to add the juice of the fruit as well. And you can see how that citrus has already changed the entire flavor profile of the bourbon.
Right, like it's made it all even smell lighter.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so you can see when you cook with bourbon, it's already sweet. You can smell a sweetness to this. So when you're doing savory cooking, you want to make sure that you're picking a bourbon that's not going to be overwhelmingly sweet. So we're going to add both of those to it. We're going to let that cook down just a little bit, and then we're going to add one of my favorite ingredients, which is butter.
Yeah, butter to everything.
The butter is what's going to thicken it and turn it into a sauce.
Okay. Let that kind of cook down there a little bit.
Yeah.
And if people want to reach you, going to southern-flair.com is a place to reach you for any bookings, things like that.
Yes, you can view my full menu there. There's a place where you can ask questions or book an event. And if you'd like to see more recipes like this, I also post tons of these recipes on my social media as well.
Right, I was going to say, go to the website for the bookings. If you want to see the recipes, go to the Instagram page because you post a ton of stuff there.
Yes.
You're going to be, making bourbon cocktails a little bit later today,
Yes,
right? Not
later on.
here at Great Tail Live, we wish.
No, later on
But
today I'll
on your
post,
Instagram page.
actually another one of my MasterChef friends, Tenori, and I got together and made,
Love her.
so yeah, she's
Yeah.
great, made several bourbon cocktails, and we've got those recipes out for you all now.
All right.
Now the important thing is when you start to add your butter, you want to take it off the heat.
Okay.
If you leave it on, your butter's going to separate and you're going to have a sauce that's got oily puddles in it.
Okay.
And you want to add your butter a little at a time and let it slowly incorporate. And then don't put it back on the heat after you add your butter to it.
Don't put it back on the heat. And then how much will this thicken up to where you'll actually put this physically on the top of, drizzle it over the salmon,
We'll
right?
pour this over the salmon, yes. It's not going to thicken up, all the way to a gravy, but similar to like a beurre blanc, like a wine sauce.
Yeah.
We've just kind of replaced the bourbon with the wine. And
Again,
so,
it's just cooking with bourbon can be scary for people because you just don't want to overwhelm
yes,
the
it can
item.
It can be intimidating. You just want to make sure that you cook some of that alcohol content off so you don't have a raw bourbon flavor.
Right. Which for some may be exactly what they want. But
Yes,
maybe doesn't really complement your dish too well.
Yes, I do use some raw bourbon, like in bourbon fudges and
Yeah.
bourbon balls, you'll use some raw bourbon. And you'll see that it's starting to thicken into a sauce consistency.
Yeah.
While that's melting, we're going to add a little bit more salt and pepper to it.
You're using a Himalayan salt there?
I'm using a Himalayan pink salt.
Don't you love the taste of that to
I
dishes?
do.
I am obsessed with it.
I use it in almost all of my cooking. So you can see it's still going to be, a thinner sauce, but the butter makes it just thick enough, to stand up to the fish.
Yes. All right. Need help there?
We'll take our
Gonna plate
fish,
this up.
and we don't want to ruin the beautiful brown crispy skin. So we're actually, for our salmon, going to put the sauce underneath the fish.
Look at that.
So we'll pour our
Oh,
sauce
Chef
in
Brandi,
here.
That looks delicious.
We're going to
delicious.
set our fish right into the sauce.
There you go.
And then just a few of those sprigs of thyme right on top.
Beautiful. And can you present it right up here?
Oh,
We'll
of
take
course.
a different camera shot there. Love it. Wonderful, wonderful. Here, I'm going to put one up here just a little bit so that everybody can see it. You guys, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Chef Brandi, thank you so much. All right, we did a little bit of the savory. Guess what? Coming up a little bit later, we're going to do a little bit of the